For years, the name Steve Smith has carried different meanings for different audiences. Whether it's the Hall of Fame-worthy wide receiver who became one of the NFL's fiercest competitors, or the cricketer who rose to fame in Australia, before facing scandal, or even public figures across business and entertainment who share that same name. Yet behind the highlight reels, trophies, and headlines are layers of controversy and hardship that many fans either overlooked or chose not to believe. These troubling details paint a portrait of a man whose journey was far more complicated than the clean narratives often presented. For those who followed Steve Smith, the NFL star, the truth was that his success on the field came with an intensity that often boiled over into conflict. Teammates and opponents alike described him as fiery, sometimes explosive, a competitor who pushed boundaries and occasionally crossed them. His physical altercations in practice and his short temper made as many headlines as his touchdowns, leaving fans to question whether his passion was both his greatest gift and his most damaging flaw. Away from football, Smith admitted to struggles, with anger management and emotional wounds that trace back to his childhood, scars that fame and fortune never erased. Then there is Steve Smith, the cricketer, whose brilliance with the bat was undeniable, but whose career nearly crumbled under the weight of one of the biggest scandals in modern cricket, the ball tampering incident in 2018. As captain of the ESA's Australian team, Smith was caught in the middle of a scheme that shattered his reputation and led to a humiliating ban from the sport. The troubling detail here was not just the act itself, but the way it exposed the immense pressure he carried, pressure that drove him to make decisions that contradicted the leadership and integrity fans expected of him. Even after his return, questions lingered. Could he ever fully rebuild the trust that had been broken? And beyond the stadiums, Steve Smith's name has surfaced in other troubling contexts, from financial disputes to family strains, reminding the public that fame does not shield one from the complexities of life. What makes these stories particularly striking is how they clash with the polished images many fans once believed in. Supporters who grew up idolizing their hero were left unsettled by the reminder that their role models were flawed human beings, capable of mistakes and burdened by demons hidden behind the curtain of success. Yet these troubling details also highlight something else: resilience. Both Steve Smith, the NFL star, and Steve Smith, the cricketer, fought their way back from controversies that could have permanently destroyed their legacies. The football player turned to mentorship and broadcasting, using his experiences to guide younger athletes away from the pitfalls he once faced. The cricketer returned to international play, proving that while reputations can be stained, they can also be rebuilt, with persistence and humility. In the end, the troubling details about Steve Smith are not just about scandal, anger, or controversy. They are about the complexity of human lives lived under the microscope. They remind us that even those who seem larger than life carry private battles, and that the truth behind the headlines is often far more painful, raw, and instructive than the glory we see on screen or in the stadium. To know Steve Smith fully is to know both the triumphs and the turmoil, the victories and the flaws. And perhaps that is why his story continues to fascinate and unsettle fans around the world.